What's going on, guys? It's Elias. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in today. As you can see, we are actually inside the house, not outside the house, because this cat does not do well when it's really cold. And it's currently 0 degrees or -1 degrees out, and I just don't feel like going out right now. Unfortunately, I did have to go out because some of our tires needed to get re-inflated. They were losing some pressure. And in case you don't know, in the middle of winter, our tires tend to lose a little bit of pressure here and there as the temperatures fluctuate between, let's say, 0 degrees Fahrenheit to 45 degrees Fahrenheit the next day to 10 degrees Fahrenheit the next, and then you gotta drive through some ice and all that good stuff. So you tend to lose a little bit of pressure. Nitrogen-filled tires don't tend to lose as much. They don't expand and contract as much as regular air does when it's heated up or cooled down. But I don't have nitrogen-filled tires, I have regularly filled tires, and therefore I have to go out every once in a while and fill up my tires. Now you surely know that I own 6 different cars, and keeping up with all those cars and all the different pressures is quite a task sometimes. Sometimes actually it gets so annoying to maintain all these cars that I actually think about selling some of them, but I know a lot of you guys don't want me to do that, so I won't, at least for now. So as we can see here, we have a great variety of air pumps that I've basically either pulled out of my cars or my tool shed, like that one, or this thing right here I have a project for. I'm going to go over each one and why or why not get these, and what use I'm going to be getting out of these, and which one you should be getting. Alright, so here we go, guys. We're going to start with the most basic one that I own, and this is the Slime branded air pump from Walmart. Now, I've had this for, I think, 10 years or so, maybe 5 years. I don't remember. It is one of those things you buy because you realize, oh shoot, I don't have an air pump. Let me buy one just in case. So in case you guys don't know, it is crucial that you always keep an air pump in every one of your cars, regardless of the situation. So I'm going to go over at least 2 pumps that I would recommend that you get when you own a car and you're going to be driving around like every other person does. Make sure you keep one of these always on hand. As you can see, it's powered by any regular cigarette lighter port or auxiliary port, whatever you want to call it. This is just plug in and go. As long as you have battery power in your car, this will work. And the gauge is not lit up, which is one of the negatives, and it's just a simple on-off button. And once you plug it in, this light right here will light up. But and it helps. It's LED. It's pretty bright. It'll help. But that's it. Don't expect anything else from this thing. It's quite bulky. I think the main reason why this is so bulky is because it's designed to take a lot of impacts, because you're just going to throw it in your trunk and it's going to be thrown around like everything else you have in there. This next one here I bought from Amazon not too long ago, probably about 4 months ago, and it's still in the packaging because I haven't used it. This one is really, really good for what it is. It's nice and compact, as you can see right here, and it has a really bright LED lights. Now, the biggest difference between this one and the Slime one is that you can have on or off buttons for not only the pump, but also the lights. Sometimes you don't need the light to be on, so you want to turn it off, or you don't want to use the light. You don't need the light. It's nice to have that right there. And this is actually pretty compact. Even though it's compact, it feels really sturdy. And I'm gonna have no problem throwing this in the back of, let's say, a truck or the back of a truck, not the bed, but like the back seat of a truck or something like that, or a trunk or something like that. This will do just fine. This is a pretty inexpensive one. I'll put a link in the description below, and I'll put the price here on the screen. It's not expensive. It's pretty good for what you get. And of course, it comes with these attachments that you're going to immediately lose. At least I always lose these attachments. They're designed to, if you have a ball, you can just fill up a ball and other stuff that I never use it for. I use these for cars exclusively. I don't play the other sports. I do racing, car racing. So this is what I'm going to use it for. Let's move on to a step up. Not yet the one I'd recommend everybody to get, but the next step up and why you'd get that one. Here's this heavy duty one. Boom. It even looks heavy duty. Now, I thought this was metal, but it's actually plastic. So I think that's just for looks. It's got a nice carrying handle because this thing is pretty heavy. And it looks really heavy duty for what it is. It's a 2-cylinder air compressor. You can see right there. It's got a bunch of information there, which are not really important. The main thing about this is if you have a big truck tire, or if you have a giant tire to fill up, those other small ones, they're probably going to overheat. They have a tendency to overheat. And I really would be very careful if you're filling up a giant tire with one of these. You know, let's say you have to fill up a giant tire with this thing. Take breaks. So, you know, I would not use this exclusively to fill up a gigantic truck tire or a big tire or something like that. I would use something more along the lines of one of these. This is way more heavy duty. This thing has a little storage compartment, so the things that I always lose, I actually won't lose them. And as you can see, it plugs into your cigarette lighter. No problems at all. The other thing it brought, because it's such a heavy duty one, is one of these. Yes, you can hook it up to a regular 12-volt battery and use this as a cigarette lighter port. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nifty. I'm glad it brings that, because let's say you're on a motorcycle and you're trying to fill up your tire with this thing. I don't recommend hooking it up to, let's say, an auxiliary lighter port that you have on your motorcycle. It won't work properly. It'll probably blow your fuse. This is too strong for that little cigarette lighter, especially on your motorcycle. You have to get one of these, hook it up to your battery directly, and you'll be all set. So why would you get one of these, and what am I going to do with this one? Well, I'm actually going to mount this somewhere. I think I'm going to mount this somewhere and give it its own battery source. Probably going to buy the cheapest 12-volt battery and hook it up to this, hook it up there. And now I have a stationary place where I can go ahead and take this separate hose. And yes, it comes with this separate hose, and you can stretch it out pretty long distances. This is actually really nice, pretty professional looking. And of course, this shows your PSI, very nifty there, very nice. And I like this a lot. Now, this is actually way more expensive. I'll put the price on the screen now, and the link is below. But if you're gonna have a shop designated air pump like this, you might as well get something this high quality, especially if you have big tires. Like I said, if you have a big pickup truck, you know, my ZR2, for example, I wouldn't use the smaller ones, but I would not hesitate to use one of these things. However, if you're only gonna have one, I recommend this next one. And here it is, boys and girls. This is exactly what I use basically day in and day out. This is a Black & Decker air pump. And as you can see here, it actually has a light up screen. And there you can see, you can change from PSI to bar to kPa, back to PSI. You could raise the, to whatever PSI you want. Let's say you want 35, that's what I usually use for most of my cars. And then you go ahead, plug this into your car, it'll read off whatever PSI your tire is at. You turn it on, and it'll inflate to whatever PSI you set it to. That is my favorite feature of any air pump I've ever used. My absolute favorite feature. It's so good, in fact, I find myself basically only using this pump for pretty much everything now. Now, of course, it does have some downfalls. It is made out of cheap plastic, so if you drop this, expect pieces to come flying off. It's not that durable. It's not as durable as I'd like. And yes, it does have a port where you can hook it up to your cigarette lighter, as every other one. But I think my second favorite thing about this is that it also has a place for you to plug it into the wall, and it's battery operated. This is awesome, guys. So this right here is another Black & Decker 20-volt maximum battery hooked up to a light, as you can see. It's a flashlight. It works as a flashlight pretty well. But I have 2 batteries for this thing. I actually have 2 more batteries because I bought a whole set cheaply on Amazon. I'll put a link below so you guys can take a look. But this is awesome. I just put a battery in here. And I'm set to go. And again, those things I always lose, they're already kept right in here. This is by far my most favorite air pump ever. I think I'll do a separate video at some point, probably in the summer, of it in action. The best thing about it is you set it and you forget it. Like I said, you put in your PSI there, you plug it into the tire, and it brings it up to the pressure that you want. You can walk away, you can do other things, you can go inside and get warm. This is by far my favorite. Now, why shouldn't you get this? Like I said before, this is not quite as durable. Again, if you have a giant tire to inflate, a big tire or a big truck tire, this would be the wrong one to get. It will overheat and probably break. It's not as heavy duty as you think. The price on this is also going to be way more expensive than the small ones that I showed you in the beginning, the slime and the small Andu ones. 10 or 15 bucks is what they cost. This is going to cost around 60 bucks plus the battery. This battery by itself probably costs another 40 bucks. So it's not cheap. But for what you're getting, I mean, it's got a handle, it's orange, so you hopefully won't lose it. It's a lot. And although it doesn't have a light, this right here, this illumination, is actually enough for you to see what you're doing when you're plugging in this to the tire. Like I said, it has a wall charger. You can plug it into your car, and it's battery operated, so you don't even need any of that. You have multiple batteries. You could run it for quite a long time on just one battery. You can recharge that battery. It charges anything you want. It charges, I've inflated air mattresses with this. I've inflated balls with this. I've inflated tires with this. I've taken this to the track with me. It's held up pretty well. And this is by far my favorite. So like I said, every vehicle needs one of these. And I would not put this in a vehicle as a portable one. I would put one of the smaller ones in the beginning of the video in your car just to carry around just in case you need an emergency one. If you have as many cars as I do, or if you go to track days and things like that, this is the second one I would recommend. Buy a small portable one that's gonna hold up to the abuse in your trunk. This is the second one I would get in your house and use that to inflate your tires. I absolutely love this thing. It's awesome. If you have some bigger, heavier duty things to do, get yourself one of these, something of this type. That's what I would recommend. And that about does it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.